Our ministry for 2020 was shuttered by COVID-19, but God had another plan. Hi, this is Mark Witt, Director of TeenQuest. Just recently, I wrote a letter to all my supporters, and today I'm going to read this very special letter to you. You see, I hope you realize that when troubles come in your life, to count it all joy, according to the book of James. Now, here's the letter I wrote to my supporters this last week. We began 2020 with excitement and plans for camps, events, and ministry opportunities to reach students with the message of Christ. Before January we announced our theme for 2020, Go Tell the World, Mark 16:15. Go to all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. Suddenly, as you well know, in March, COVID-19 was declared a worldwide pandemic and everything was shut down. Our ministry opportunities were shuttered, our camps were closed, our events were canceled, our dreams, hopes, and plans for 2020 were gone, and at the same time we took a huge financial hit. Suddenly, God's plan to go tell the world took on a different meaning. In spite of the shutdown, you see, God began opening new opportunities in unusual ways we never thought possible in order to reach students for Christ. Would you partner with us through prayer as we take these opportunities to reach kids here in the USA and different places around the world? Now, let me explain all this. We began our ministry in our home in the South Hills of Pittsburgh 44 years ago with lots of faith in a great big God. We began with the goal of reaching students locally through what we called youth rallies. We had Bible clubs, special events, and even camps. During our years of ministry, many students have come to Christ, grown in their faith, and are now serving the Lord in full-time ministry, and we're thankful for that. Back in 1976, we held our first youth rally at Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall in Pittsburgh with more than 1,200 teenagers in attendance and 99 students praying to receive Christ. A 10-year-old Stan sat with his family in the auditorium that night in November 1976. Months after our first youth rally, Stan's parents started a TeenQuest Bible Club in their home in New Kensington. Students from Stan's high school began hearing the message of Christ. God began leading young Stan to surrender to the ministry, and upon graduation from high school, Stan attended Bible school and became an evangelist, and then he became a youth worker, and then he became a pastor. He served the Lord many years as a pastor, and a few years ago, Stan and his wife Denise led a short-term trip to Guatemala with their church. During that trip, God spoke to Stan and Denise, calling them to the mission field. Weeks later, they left the pastorate in the USA to begin a ministry to young girls in Guatemala. God has opened the doors for us here at TeenQuest to work together with Stan and Denise, reaching students here in the USA and also in Guatemala. In fact, Stan will be traveling with us this month, presenting Christ to students in youth groups, churches throughout the area, and sharing how adults and students can become involved. Another thing that happened, we were so disappointed when COVID-19 destroyed our opportunity to reach Chinese students for Christ this summer. Then suddenly, several weeks ago, we received a call from our friend who is a high school principal in China. Now, we're cautious to use his name right now, but he called to say that COVID-19 may keep them from coming back to TeenQuest next summer and asked if we would help them design a camp in southern China. Now, how could we say no to this special request? Now, here's the backstory behind all of this. Listen carefully. Several years ago, an associate of mine out of state led our friend, this Chinese high school principal, to Christ while this Chinese guy was visiting here in America. You see, he started coming to our camps with students from his public school in China. The spring of 2019, we took a team of students to southern China to minister and recruit kids in the high schools. And we went all over the place in southern China. And consequently, in 2019, 83 kids came to China to TeenQuest. And many gave their hearts to Christ, including a Chinese teacher. Now, please pray for the direction as we are very carefully and strategically supporting this new venture and helping our friend in this Chinese nation. Another thing that happened, when COVID-19 hit, we had to close down all our camps, mission trips, and all our events. By the time our governor opened up the state, it was too late to organize a program with our staff. Out of the blue, in the middle of June, a Jewish rabbi from Canada called us and asked if they could use our camp during the month of July because the camps in New York all shut down. Within days, 74 enthusiastic Jewish boys filled the ranch and stayed the entire month of July. Consequently, our staff had many good biblical discussions with the boys, and spiritual seeds were planted. Now, back at the ranch, girls who needed spiritual mentoring are this month training for future camps with our horse trail guides. Our godly adult trail guides have been pouring into these girls spiritually. What a blessing to see God's working in the lives of these girls through the horse program at the Teen Quest Ranch. Guatemala, China, USA. Yes, COVID-19 took a heavy financial toll on our ministry, but we must not retreat. God has been opening additional doors of opportunity to reach kids for Christ around the world. We would like to challenge you to hold up our hands in faith, just like Aaron and Hur held up the hands of Moses in the wilderness as they fought the Amalekites, Exodus 17:2. Would you join us in prayer and financial help supporting by giving your best gift today? Your help will make the difference in a teenager's life. This is Mark and Debbie Witt, directors. This is how the letter ends. Then I have a P.S. at the very end that just encourages people to give and to pray for us. And we just heard recently that a young woman that we met last year in China just gave her heart to the Lord. These are wonderful miracles that are happening. You see, when everything falls apart, remember, God has a plan. And that plan for you may be exciting if we just listen to the voice of God. This is Mark Witt for Teen Quest. Have a great day.